Magwanani Malelepo Vukenjani Klekwa Savannah Ve Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, your portal into Africa's potent stories. From Madagascar's military shakeup to Tanzania's election time abduction drama and Tunisia's shocking release of a man sentenced to death for Facebook posts, this edition dives deep into the continent's defining moments. We also track the UN's drastic food aid cuts in Somalia and the power of laughter amid conflict in Congo. Plus, Namibia's top stories of the week thus far, with Elliot Ipinge and Kenya Kamboya reporting, as well as economic headlines led by the World Bank's updated sub-Saharan forecast. Catch Africa Good Morning on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, and NTV Africa on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly. Let's get into the top stories. Madagascar's president, Andry Rajoelina, has appointed Army General Rufin Fortunat Zafisambo as the new prime minister, replacing Christian Tse after dissolving the government in response to persistent protests over water and electricity shortages. The president said the country needed a leader who could restore order and the people's trust, adding that Zafisambo's priority would be stabilizing the power and water supply. The protests, now entering their third week, have drawn many young people inspired by movements in Kenya and Nepal. Police fired tear gas to disperse demonstrators in Antananarivo, while similar scenes unfolded in Toleira and Diego Suarez. Despite Madagascar's natural wealth, it remains among the poorest nations, with income levels having dropped sharply since independence. The United Nations reported at least 22 deaths and over 100 injuries during the unrest, though authorities dispute this. Rajoelina's office accused political actors of exploiting the protests to destabilize the country. Some civil society groups met the president, but others refused, citing arrests of protesters and restrictions on demonstrations. Former Tanzanian ambassador and government critic Humphrey Polepole has reportedly been abducted from his Dar es Salaam home, with family members finding broken doors, cut wires, and blood at the scene. His brother, Godfrey Polepole, said they had filed a report after discovering the aftermath of the attack. Police Chief Jumane Muliro questioned how the abduction could occur, claiming the former envoy often said he was abroad. National Police confirmed they were investigating and awaiting Polepole's response to ongoing summons over allegations he made after resigning in July. The ex-ambassador had publicly criticized the government and was stripped of his diplomatic title by President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The alleged prior harassment and raids on his home. Police later opened a case against him, saying his claims might amount to criminal offenses. Tanzania heads to elections on 29 October, with opposition figures detained or disqualified. President Samia seeks a second term amid growing criticism over political repression and a surge in abductions targeting government critics. A Tunisian court has released Saba Chouchane, who was sentenced to death last week for Facebook posts critical of President Kais Saied. The decision followed widespread backlash and human rights concerns. Lawyer Osama Boltelia confirmed Chouchane's release, with his brother also confirming he was free. The 56-year-old had been arrested, and his conviction had sparked outrage across Tunisia and social media. The case was seen as emblematic of shrinking freedom since President Saied Zayed took over all powers in 2021, dissolving parliament and ruling by decree. Civil society groups and activists called the ruling a shock and a sign of growing repression. Tunisia, once celebrated for its 2011 democratic uprising, has since faced international condemnation over limits on judicial independence and free expression. Chouchan's case drew particular attention for its severity, with many observers labeling it unprecedented in modern Tunisian law. The United Nations World Food Programme has announced drastic cuts to food assistance in Somalia due to critical funding shortfalls. The number of people receiving emergency aid will drop from 1.1 million in August to 350,000 by November. The agency cited an urgent need for funds to support millions affected by hunger and climate disasters. The UN estimates 4.6 million Somalis face crisis levels of hunger, while 1.8 million children are malnourished, including 421,000 in severe condition. So far, aid has reached only 180,000 children. Somalia continues to endure drought, floods, and long-standing conflict, with al-Shabaab controlling several regions. The worsening situation has been compounded by reduced U.S. foreign aid, further straining humanitarian operations. The WFP's reduction signals growing global fatigue in donor funding amid escalating crises worldwide. Humanitarian agencies warn that without immediate financial support, Somalia could face catastrophic famine levels unseen in over a decade. In the war-torn Democratic Republic of Congo, comedians are using humor to bring relief to people displaced by fighting with M23 rebels. At a performance in Beni, jokes about former President Joseph Kabila's slow speech drew loud laughter from soldiers and civilians alike. One comic joked that patients would die before Kabila finished speaking if he were a doctor. Organizers described the events as mass therapy for communities burdened by trauma and displacement. The shows, filled with jokes about politics and daily hardship, offer rare moments of joy. Attendees, like 28-year-old Placide Tula, who fled Goma when M23 captured it, say they came to forget about their suffering, even briefly. The comedians contrast Congolese rumba music's upbeat tone with Western melancholy, highlighting resilience through laughter. Goma's fall earlier this year displaced hundreds of thousands. Organizer Christian Kabwe said the goal was simple: to de-stress war-weary citizens by proving that laughter, even in crisis, can be survival, Reuters reports. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. Shortly, we're going to swing into the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. But prior to that, it's the weather.
Mornings just got better, Namibia. From the latest headlines to the hottest trends, we're bringing you the conversations that matter.
That's right. Bright minds, bold opinions, and a touch of morning magic. This is your daily dose of energy.
So grab a cup and join in on the conversation every weekday morning at 8 o'clock with Smell the Coffee, hosted by Diana Master and Aina Riza Quayo.
During an engagement with editors from various media houses in Windhoek, Information and Communication Technology Minister Emma Theophilus discussed the ethical use of social media campaign under the National Pride program. She said the initiative seeks to promote unity, patriotism and social cohesion while urging Namibians to reject content that fuels social ills. Theophilus warned against cyberbullying, hate speech and misinformation, calling on media houses to help raise awareness and foster a safer, more responsible digital community. Video by Elliot Ipinge.
Conscious of the potential dangers and risks of social media in our way on how to safely conduct themselves on online spaces. Dangers of social media include negative mental health effects like depression and anxiety, exposure to inappropriate content and hate speech, cyberbullying, especially amongst our young citizens, children who are debuting younger and younger online, and exploitation of minors and the spread of misinformation and disinformation, which has a constant comparison to unrealistic lifestyles that may lead to undue pressures and withdrawals. Furthermore, through this campaign, we aim to educate Namibian citizens to avoid promoting tribal discourses online that have the potential to bring division within our Namibian house. We can be robust in our online engagement and interactions, but when it comes to issues of national pride and unity and patriotism, we need to unite as one people and reject all forms of social ills that has the potential to derail.
In our next video, leader of the official opposition party, Dr. Panduleni Itula of the IPC, called for unity and people-centered strategies during a meeting between the party leadership, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, and members of the executive of State House. He warned that without collective effort and visionary planning, Namibia risks falling behind globally.
Everyone, wherever they are, whether it's in the village or whether it's in the informal settlements or whether it's in the towns, issues that are critically important for us to achieve, but it's issues that cannot be achieved by one person alone or by one political party alone. We've got the harmony of political parties in our multi-party constitutional democracy, where we are aiming at achieving a lot of what we have set ourselves back in 2004 in the Vision 2030, hopefully to be able to achieve the majority of those that we have set ourselves as a nation. We are the nation of the land of the brave. Naturally, we will be having our political differences. Our political differences will not hinder our strategies. I'm a strong believer in a well-crafted strategy that will be able to be imposed upon chaos in order for us to actually get order into the system itself. We are lagging behind in our development. We can build as many roads and bridges as necessary, but if we are not investing in the well-being of our people, that is the measure of us looking after our nation indeed. We are a small nation, but with the complexity of the geopolitics in this world and very few countries emerging very, very powerful, and a large number of countries emerging medium powerful. If we are not careful in crafting a very good strategy so that Namibia continue to remain afloat, we will risk being trodden down at the bottom, and Namibia will become irrelevant to many of the countries. So,
residents of Opuo's Katutura extension 2 are demanding compensation. We'll be talking about that story when we swing back after the break. In a world where politicians promise the moon and deliver potholes, where democracy sometimes arrives in camouflage and ballots often look like formalities, one show dares to laugh with Africa, at Africa, and sometimes for Africa. This is Second Take, your weekly dose of political satire with an African soul and a global edge. From coups disguised as press briefings to ministers moonwalking past accountability, we serve the real news with sharper writing. Each week we bring you the TikTok of the week, because sometimes the revolution is vertical, and the heartwarming moment of the week to remind us that not everything is burning. We also sit down with the bold, the brilliant, and the brave, voices that question power, stir thought, and spark laughter. Because when the headlines are wild, the leaders are louder, and the truth is lost in translation, we all need a second take. Continuing with the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia, residents of Opo's Katutura Extension 2 are demanding compensation from the local authority following their relocation from Oranda informal settlement in 2019. The group claims that out of over 400 people that were relocated, the council only compensated about 10. Narrating their ordeal, group spokesperson Jem Rona Pato said that they have written to Urban and Rural Development Minister James Sankwasa to intervene in the matter. Report by Kenya Kamboy.
My name is Jem Rona Pato. I'm from Oranda. We allocated Oranda 1991. And then 2019, there's a people from Ministry of Urban at Windhoek. They came to survey our place. And then 2023, they came to us to tell us that we have to move to Oranda, to Okatutura Extension number 2. But they're supposed to give us money. They don't give us anything. From the people they are moving first, they don't give them anything. The second person, they give them sing. And the third person, they build only 2 houses, but it's not yet complete. And then now, they don't want to give us our money. They say they are not to pay us. Like our case, our house in between 3 pipeline, but up to now they say they are not give us money. They put people in Okatutura Extension number 2. Some of the people, they are on the service plot. The other, they are not on the service plot. But even though they are on the other side, they are not services. They pay those places, but they told us on 2019 that those place is free, is donation, and they give us the paper that this place is donation. You are not to pay anything. Now they told us we are not pay anything. We are paying money. They deduct for our compensation money to the plot. And the other thing, those people, most of the people, they are allocated to Katutura Extension number 2. They are not from Oranda. They are from other places, and then they buy this plot from Opo Town Council. Most of the people, we are left there Oranda because of here now Katutura Extension number 2, the plot is finished. And the other thing, when they put people, all those places is flooded. When the rain is came, most of the people, they are underwater, the things broken. And the other things, some of the people, they are from where they are breed open market. They are take out those people, but up to now, they are not compensating them. They are not give them a place.
Now tell me, you are talking to the media now, but I'm sure you have leaders. This is a local authority. You have local authority councillors. You have a CEO. You have a authority councillor, and you have a governor for your region. Oh, have you tried reaching out to these people so that they can address this issue for you guys?
Our councillors, constituency councillor, came here to attend our meeting, and then acting CEO and the chairperson. We are fighting for them this case, and then the last minute I told them we are waiting for you to upload this case. Now it's too late. We are going ahead. We told them we are going ahead, and then they told us, don't go to Ombundu's money and those things, because those things they punish you. And then we decided ourselves that we can try our best where we can get the media. That's why we will conduct you to come here to assist us.
What happens if you call your leaders to come and listen to you?
This is from 2019 up to now. We call them. When they came here, they talk like they are assistants, but we try. Now it's almost 6 years. We are so very suffered too much. That's why we are trying our best.
Okay, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Now, with another update from Kenya, Kambowe Mukuma Alex, a resident of Opor in the Kunene region, narrates the inconsistent water supply at the town, saying that the situation is critical. The local authority rations water, which forces residents to fill up containers in order to have access to the resource.
Alex, just tell me, how is the water situation like in Opor?
Really, the water situation in Opor is a very, very critical condition due to, as you rise now, what is your time now? If past 7 or to 7 there around afternoon, you doesn't have water until next day, 5 o'clock. You may find also some from Friday up to Sunday, you don't have any water at the pipes.
So, but how does it affect your daily life?
That is now very affected very, very much, because as you see, we have school children, we have to consume our certain, and we have to cook. But what about if you don't have the water container at the home? Then meaning by saying that day you will not be able to cook anything at your home, and then you cannot take the bath. So, which is very challenging to us.
Just tell me, how do you want this situation to be addressed?
Now, this situation to be addressed, I think the town council must be came with an amicable solution by explanation us, because nobody there explain us by saying no, the water underground there is now become to an end. They have to find another amicable solution, even to drill new boreholes, or I don't know, but they have to, or maybe connecting the water from Alpha at Man pipe to poor in order for us to access to water, because each and every person in Namibia must have the right to access to water, but we still at that challenges.
Okay. I don't think about your attention.
Thank you.
And MTC has announced a sponsorship worth 250,000 Namibian dollars for the 8th edition of the Simply You magazine Lifestyle and Fashion Awards. The announcement was made by MTC's manager for sponsorships and promotions, John Ekongo, at a press conference. The awards take place on Saturday, 25 October.
In short, any summary to announce the sponsorship announcement of an amount of 250,000 to the Simply You Lifestyle Magazine Awards. This is obviously born out of the need for expressing creative and supporting creative industries. I'm sure you, as entertainment and lifestyle reporters, would have been able to notice that the last couple of 5 years or so, we have gone heavily into the creative, lifestyle, artistic space. That is with the MTC Winter Fashion Week, and recently the MTC Content Creator Awards. So that is basically, from an MTC perspective, a philosophy that we have adopted in trying to see how we can get into the demographics and the creative space. The creative space is one industry that obviously is announced by government recently as well, that is obviously not very much supported. Although support has been there, it's not at the space or at the volume that it should have been. And it was incumbent upon corporates such as us to come into this space. Why MTC and
Let's close off the show with this very important economic news update. The World Bank has raised its 2025 growth forecast for sub-Saharan Africa to 3.8%, up from 3.5%, citing stable inflation and improved currency performance. The bank projects growth will rise to 4.4% over the next 2 years, with private consumption and investment recovering as monetary conditions ease. Major economies, including Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Ivory Coast, have seen upgraded outlooks, while median inflation across the region has fallen below 4%. However, fiscal tightening could slow recovery in some states. The report highlights the need for job creation to prevent unrest, as seen in youth-led protests across Kenya, Nigeria, and Madagascar. The bank warns that uncertainty over global trade policies and the expiration of US-Africa trade deals could threaten progress. Despite these risks, stronger real incomes and stable currencies have restored optimism. Chief economist Andrew Dabalen urged governments to prioritize jobs offering living wages, warning that continued unemployment could spark further instability. Those have been our stories on Africa. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, Network Media Hub, NTV Africa on YouTube, and oneup2.com. Keeping in mind, on oneup2.com, you have to spell it out, ONEUPTWO.com. You can click the echo icon and have access to not just this show, but other NTV programs, because on oneup2.com, Echo Primetime is anytime. My name is Ashwin Bedi. We return tomorrow with the South Africa report delivered by Ari Hochad, and as usual, the top headlines from across the continent. My name is Ashwin Bedi. Swera Zakanaka.